Hey guys, so today is going to be the day I'm going to show you how I built my entertainment system. The entertainment system is basically going to be a built-in unit. You're going to have a recessed flat panel TV, and then you're also going to have a fireplace. So I went ahead and mounted the TV to the wall prior to building the entertainment system. So I reinforced my wall, mounted the TV to that, and then I built the entertainment system, and it's flush, kind of like built in. So this video, you're gonna see my sections that I already assembled. You're gonna also see the assembly, kind of like the assembly process. I'll show you what I did, where I added the screws and all that stuff. And then towards the end of the video, if you want to stay tuned, you could go ahead and watch the diagram I put together on my computer program. So it's gonna be a sketch that I did, and you're gonna be able to go ahead and watch that whole thing that I put together. You can see where all the cuts are at, and I kind of explain a little bit more detail regarding what I did to put this TV stand together. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you do have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Hit that like button, subscribe, for sure subscribe guys. I'm trying to build this channel. So go ahead and subscribe, and then I'll have more videos coming out. This specific one is just specific for this entertainment system. All right. Thank you very much and enjoy. This is the framing. They're standing up right now. It's gonna be the bottom. This is gonna be on the floor. That's gonna be in between the floor and the TV. And then this is gonna be on the top. Those are for the sides. This is the framing for the entertainment system. As you can see, it's partially put together. You got the bottom pieces on, you got the side piece on, and you got the center piece on. So this is the bottom. And then it gets attached with 2 screws, 1 and 2. Then you get the other side, and you do the same thing, 1 and 2. Then you put this center section in, 1, 2, and 1, 2. So just 2 screws that are getting attached. Then you got this board here, and the spacing on that will be determined based off of how wide your fireplace is, and the height between the bottom section and the mid section would be based off of your fireplace. So make sure you get those measurements correct prior to assembling it. This here is a L bracket. It's a 2-inch L bracket, and I'm mounting it to the 2x4 so I could use that as a mounting point for the entertainment system to mount to the wall. So the way I marked it, I just marked sections where I could easily get to it. So I have one section, it's going to be behind the fireplace, and the other section behind the TV. As you can see, I mounted it to a scrap piece of 2x4, and I'm holding it down, and then I get to mark my sections, and I put the screws in there. And that allows me to get a nice flat surface to mount where the bracket is going to be pretty much flat or flush. So once again, just use a 2x4, drill a little hole, hold it down, make sure it's nice and flat, and then you just go ahead and put your new screws in, or you can mark the hole, and that's it. And then everything stays nice and flat, and it doesn't turn or twist on you because already secured to another piece of wood. So this is the framing. When we get to the top, you're gonna see that I still got to put the top piece, and we have 2 end pieces that we gotta build squares for. I'm gonna show you in an illustrated version. So you got the section where the fireplace goes, you got the section where TV's at, and then the top section will be installed next. See, we got the brackets. One is there, it's mounted to the wall, and there's a really good drywall anchor in there, and there's another one on the top part kind of behind the TV that holds it to the wall. Here's the top section. Once again, this is based off of how much space you need. If your TV is smaller, you're gonna make that smaller. I have a 75-inch TV, so this was the size I wanted, and it gave me the spacing I wanted above the TV, which is very minimal. I went ahead and did my drywall. Remember the end caps, I did build a little box to go there, which I didn't show in this video. Now you could use drywall, or you could use any other backer board if you're gonna use tile, or if you're gonna use something else. I end up using AquaGuard, which is a flooring. It's a laminate floor, water resistant. Doesn't matter if it's water resistant for the wall, but at least you have something nice in the wall. I do recommend this flooring if you're going to put on your floor, since it is thick. It gives you a nice solid footing. It don't feel bouncy or anything. But for the wall, you could use a LVP, which is like a luxury vinyl plank flooring. As you could see in this section, I went ahead and added some nails. You can't see it actually, but they're there and they're sunk in. The only place I added nails on the surface is at the bottom, and at the bottom it's gonna get covered with baseboard or trim board, and you're not gonna be able to see the nails. So you basically do that, just keep cutting your pieces and go all the way up until you finish the whole thing. Not only did I use the nails, I also used liquid nails on the back side of the boards. And then you just go all the way up, you know, you cut the pieces you want all the way across the top, and then that's how you do it. If you use tile, you use the same thing. You do the tile as well. I think the framing and the drywall was maybe a little overkill for this installation, but it still worked. If you use that thick board, you probably won't even have to use drywall. This is it. I did do the trim. I just used some flat trim, different size ranges, and I created a little design on each side of the TV. Alright, so this is what I have so far. And basically what I did here was there were some gaps here, and I filled it, you could kind of see, with some wood filler, and I already sanded this. Up top I haven't sanded it. This top corner, you can see this little patches. I went about up to here. So up top, I gotta sand those seams there, make sure they're nice and flush. And that right there is quite a bit I had to put on there, because that wood was sticking out quite a bit. You can kind of still see the angle, kind of goes up and then protrudes. So this piece of wood that's on this outer part, that one was bowed. So I even put some screws to try to push it back, but it wouldn't do it. So I just built that top part up with some wood filler, and I'm gonna sand it down as much as I could, try to flatten it out. So everything else is filled. You know, there's some areas where I might have to put more filler, like here I gotta put a little bit more filler. These corners in here are gonna get filled with caulk. So I'm gonna caulk it and caulk these inner parts. So none of these gaps are there. You can see that there's filler in there. They're nice and smooth. So this one had it built up a little bit more. And then I also rounded off the edges. As you can see, it's not really too sharp. So I kind of just gave it a soft edge so it's not sharp. Same here. So all around I did this soft edge. Up top you can see there's a section right there that I filled. I think you can see it. Yeah, right there. So I filled that. I had to splice it. I didn't have any more wood, so I just used whatever I had. Then this side, same thing. I got the soft edge on there, so you can see it's nice and smooth. This is flush now. When it's all said and done, we can go over everything and just make sure that everything's filled and flat and smooth. The fireplace will be going in this hole right here. There's a fireplace I have, just an electric fireplace. It's gonna get plugged in and it's gonna look good. I did use a piece of floor here. I put some adhesive. I put as close as I could to this, so you do got that gap. And I'll probably put some caulk in here, or maybe something that matches, or I might just leave it. I'm not sure yet, but most likely it'll be caulk, because then when I paint it you might see it. And then I added some little finish nails on there. I put 2 on this, and then I think I did 3 on this one. I did do an extra one here because there's some movement, so this hole doesn't look that great, so I'm gonna have to fill it. And just so you guys know, if you guys are not aware, they got sanded and unsanded caulk. It's grout caulk. And normally if you're doing something that has color to it and you want to try to match it, the grout caulk works pretty good. It still has elasticity to it. So the other thing I got to do here, this part of the flooring is, you know, protruding a little bit, as you can see. So I'm going to take my sander and try to sand this down as much as I could, at least where it's flush with this wood. So I'm going to sand it down, and then I'm going to build this up with some wood filler. So I'm going to try to make it almost seamless, hopefully, where it's seamless. So when I put the paint on there, you won't be able to tell that you have these 3 layers, you know, 1, 2, and 3. Same thing on this side, you know, I'm going to build it up, not too much. The top, I'm going to do the same thing. I got to be careful on the top because it's very minimal space. It's like a hair. So here I'm just going to try to fill it in the best I could, sand it, and make it look good. My ultimate goal is once everything's done, once I put paint on there, it'll look like all one piece as far as woodwork. So no matter which way you look at it, whether you look here or you look over here, you won't be able to tell that there's any seams or anything like that. Hopefully I didn't skip too much videoing of what I was doing, but this is what I got so far. I'm gonna finish doing what I'm doing. Once again, I gotta sand that top part because that was the worst section. Sand it, try to get it nice and flush, and then just keep it moving. All done. So this is finished. Everything got sanded, caulked, and painted. This was, I think, the first coat of paint, first or second coat of paint. I believe after this video, I did go over a little bit more, sand down some sections where I wasn't crazy about. But other than that, I think it came out pretty good. I painted the inside, I filled it in. It's all black. I do got to touch up some spots, like right there. But as you can see, you don't see those layers like you saw before, where you had the trim and then the flooring and the drywall. So that's your finished product. I think it came out pretty good. I did paint those side walls there to kind of give some contrast. Don't mind the shaky camera. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully you guys learned from it. And I am going to show you an illustrated version of what you see. Hey guys, hope you guys enjoyed that video. What do you think? I think it came out pretty good. Once again, I'm not cocky or anything. I'm just confident. No, but really. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Basically, the whole build was something that I was not expecting to do. So, meaning I was expecting to build that unit, but I was not expecting to do exactly what you saw there. I changed my mind multiple times, and I did mention that in the video. But I changed my mind so many times on what I was going to do, and that was the final result. It was more like, okay, let's just do it this way. I thought it was the best way to go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the way it looked. Some people say it looks better in person than it does in pictures, but other than that, just feel free to go ahead and leave any comments. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I don't mind answering them. And if you guys did want a PDF of what I built, you could get that. You'll just have to alter it, or if you could say, hey, listen, there's a space I have, I'll try to alter it for you, just so it's a little easier. But just keep in mind, I do need a little bit of time for that. So if you do need something, or you want me to alter a little bit, I'll go ahead and do it. But I do need that time to do it. So just keep that in mind. So if you're looking to get that like tomorrow, it can't happen. So, but other than that, this next section, you're gonna notice that I'm gonna go ahead and go over basically my whole design, and I went ahead and sketched everything out on the computer, and hopefully you get more of a clearer description of what exactly went on through this whole construction process. So stay tuned. Once again, watch this next part of the video if you guys are interested. If you made it this far, I'm assuming you are interested. So thank you for sticking around if you did. Let's proceed. Thanks. So this is the framing for the wall unit. So this is what I built for my living room to put my TV in. I did have a sketch of it, but I didn't like the way it looked, so I decided to go ahead and take the time to sketch this out for you guys, so you hopefully you get a better understanding on how I framed it out. So what you see here is 2x4 framing. This is gonna be framed for a 9'4" ceiling, and the thing is, this could be done for a standard height ceiling, like about 8-foot ceiling, or even taller. The reason why this is a little higher up is because of the fact that I did need to hit that 9'4" section. It was about 9'3" or something. The side rails are actually about 8 foot, a little over 8 foot. So if you do have an 8-foot ceiling, measure the total height of the ceiling, and don't just sit there and use a 8-foot long 2x4. These are 8 foot long, and then add the caps and think it's gonna fit. You're most likely not gonna fit. So what you need to do is just double check the height of the ceiling, and then you go ahead and once you confirm that, calculate how much the caps are gonna add, which is normally about 1.5 inches each, so you got 3 inches. So if you're gonna be over, like say 8'3", then you just wanna cut the long pieces down to 3 inches, you know, so just cut them down 3 inches and then you add the cap and you should be perfectly fine. So just pay attention to that. You don't want to build this and then bring it inside and then it not fit. You want to, you know, measure 3 times and cut once. These are all 8 foot long pieces. I used the full length because I got the tall ceilings and I'm able to do that. I added the caps, so you got the bottom one and the top, and then I added the pieces in between that I sandwiched, which are 6 inches long. So I created 2 of these, as you can see on each side. I spaced them out evenly, and that gave me the width that I wanted on the side. Most wall units you're going to see, you're going to have a wider side profile. I personally didn't want that look. I want a different look. I want to do something different. So I did a more narrow profile here. And also I did it because I was planning on just using a wide piece of trim to cover everything up and just to make it look just like one full piece of trim. So I changed my mind so many times. When you see the final result, that wasn't my original plan. I changed my plan at least 3 times. So back to this, you just sandwich the pieces together. If you do want these sections wider, all you do is get these 6-inch sections and then turn them horizontally, and they don't have to be 6 inches wide. It could be 3 inches wide, it could be 10 inches wide. So you just determine how wide you want each side to be on the sides of your TV. This opening is for the TV. This is created for a 75-inch TV. And the way I did it, I had very minimal clearance at the top. On the sides, I have enough clearance to basically put my hand in there and pull the TV out. And then on the bottom, it's wide enough for me to have my sound bar in there. I also was going to add my sound bar to this section and just create a cubby hole here. But I decided I didn't want to spend that extra time because I wanted to just get it done. This section here is where the fireplace goes. So if you do have a fireplace, you would just want to confirm your measurements. So basically, the way you want to do it is when you build this, before you start cutting things and everything, what you want to do is confirm all your measurements. Let's confirm the size of your TV and your fireplace. Once you know the size of your TV and your fireplace and whatever else you're gonna be inserting in these holes, then at that point you know those measurements and you got to work around those measurements. This is not a fireplace unit that you have a surface mounted TV. So the TV is going to be recessed inside the wall, so it's not going to be sticking out. So when you're looking at this, if you want, like my TV is not 100% vertical, it has a slight angle to it, but if you want, you can make 100% flat depending on the type of TV mount you have, and then you can make it flush basically. But it's recessed inside its wall unit, so you don't see any brackets, nothing sticking out. So what I end up doing is I end up building this in sections. So I went ahead and built this section, did 2 of them. I went ahead and cut all the pieces of wood and then assembled these sections, this here as well, and then I put them all together. So this is one section, this is another section, this is another section, this is another one, and this is another one. So once everything was put together, I just brought everything inside in pieces, and then I was able to assemble it. So I didn't assemble it standing up, I had it laying on the floor. I first assembled my bottom piece, I put my screws in here, Okay, all these you add your screws. Okay, at least 2 screws per block on each side. So 2 here, on 2 on this side, on each one. On here you want to add your screws here. So you just want to do that on each one. This top block and this bottom block is not 100% necessary. You could get away with not doing that. Just add your screws in here and in here. I just added it just to keep my spacing consistent. Because sometimes you add a screw, the wood could move if you don't pre-drill. So, you know, I added the screw just for a little extra precision. So you assemble all this on the ground. Assemble all this. You add your screws in here, both sides. And that's done. That's going to be laying on the ground. Next, after that, you're going to build your side pieces. These are the sides that protrude from the wall, basically. So this here says backside wall. So you can see this backside would go up against the wall. I didn't mount the 2x4 to the wall. All I did was I put brackets on the upper section in the TV area, behind the TV, and then the bottom section in the fireplace area. And I just added 1 screw with an anchor inside the wall, so I didn't have to go crazy trying to find anything. I just did a good drywall anchor. Obviously you want to measure all that before you mount everything up. So you assemble everything, you put it to the wall, you mark your holes, then you go back, you add your anchor, then you put it up against the wall again, and you just put your screw in and you're good to go. Unfortunately I didn't video that. So you do the same thing here. You assemble all these L shapes first. Screws here, screws here. Then you add your screw up top, you add your screws from the inside, from this back side in. This here, you add your screw from the top. Then you add your screw from the bottom. You make sure this is L shape is already made, and you add another screw in here. Now, some of you guys are seeing this and say, why is this notched out? This is the bottom. This is the wall, this is the bottom. What's normally at the bottom of the wall? 90% of the time, 80% of the time, I don't know, I don't really know the real statistic. Just act like I do. But I would say almost every house has baseboards. This section here is 5.5 inches. The front to back, I gotta double check the measurement. But basically, you just want to confirm how thick your baseboard is. So normally baseboard, I believe, are about a 1/2 inch. I think it's a 1/2 inch. I can't remember. But you just confirm that you're gonna clear it. So the reason why I did it like this is because I didn't want to have to cut my baseboard, because I built this in a way where if I decided I want to get rid of it or do anything, I could easily, once everything's put together, like say I said I don't want it anymore, I could easily cut the caulk at the top part, cut the caulk at the bottom, cut the caulk on the sides, and then remove the trim, and then I should be able to pull this away from the wall after removing the 4 screws that are mounted to the wall. So by doing that, I don't have anything I need to take care of. I just got to clean up a little bit of caulk and then fill just 4 holes, as opposed to having to replace a whole run of baseboard. So this is a right side. So when you're looking at the unit and you went around towards the right side, this is what you see. These sections would mount to the front of the unit, would mount to this. So basically it would mount, like say we're seeing this from the back side. This is the front side, but it's the same on the back side. Basically those L shapes would mount to these sections here. Mount to here, about here, here. So those would mount to that. So that's how that looks, a clear picture. Like say you said, hey Pete, I like your framing. I want to have the instructions to this or the measurements. Can you send that to me? If you want me to send it to you, I could. Ask me to send you a copy of this or something. Remember, this is the framing, this is the front, this is the side. This part goes up against the wall. This part mounts to the front of the unit. You mount everything together. The way I end up doing it is I went ahead and mounted these 2 side rails to the center piece and the bottom piece. I did the bottom first, and then I did the side pieces. I attached these side pieces. Remember, this part goes towards the front, towards the bottom, the floor, and this part goes up against the baseboard. So I mounted all this together, and then I raised it into place. Once I raised it into place, at that point I went ahead and added the header. This shows you all the pieces of wood that I cut. By following this, you should have the right measurements, but once again, just confirm your height. This would work perfect with 9'4" ceilings. With anything shorter, it's not. Anything taller, it's not. You're gonna have to make some adjustments. Technically 9'2", 9'3" ceilings. All right, so this is the end of the video. Thanks for watching once again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the whole thing. If you did watch the whole thing, if you just watched the second part, thank you for watching that. If you watched the first part, thanks for watching that. I really hope you enjoyed the video, especially the second part, because that took me quite some time to actually put together. So I did want to try to make it more clear for you guys, and that's why I did that. So if you have any questions, once again, leave them in the comment section below. And then hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Stay tuned for more videos. I believe the next video you're going to be seeing is possibly my backsplash installation. Okay, so that should be the next one. Thank you very much. Catch you on the next one.